Hi, my name's Frank Wiegers, and I want to tell you the story of how I found the relationship of my dreams. I'm a 80-year-old fighter pilot veteran from the Vietnam War and a 3-time divorced veteran of the relationship wars. So after my 3rd divorce, I decided I don't want any more wars. And I was done with flying fighters, so I thought, well, I got to figure out how this relationship stuff works because I can't keep doing this anymore. And you know, I've got 3 degrees, so I know how to study, and I began to find teachers from all over the world. I found a Tantra teacher from Europe, another Tantra teacher from India, relationship coaches from all over the U.S., and I studied with a Native American shaman for off and on for 15 years. So to get to where I am, I first figured out that what I had to do is find out about who I was and what I really wanted. So that began with a study of what my values were and what my vision for myself was, and then what my vision for my relationship was. And what I found as I went through all this studying is a couple of things interesting. That one, most of the relationship teachers that I work with really didn't want to talk much about sex. And most of the sex teachers that I work with weren't very good at relationship. Now, I always thought that the two of those went together. So I began to figure out ways to put that together. And you know, the thing that really motivated me was that I love sex. And I've had all kinds of sex. In fact, my 3rd wife and I were really experimenters. And we did all the wild stuff you can think of. And we did everything that we wanted. And we didn't do everything, but we did everything that we wanted. And what I found out that that wasn't it. And I still didn't really know how relationships work. So the thing is that being in relationship and having a fulfilling, satisfying sexual relationship is a lot more complicated than we think. And you know, I found that there really aren't any schools. They don't teach us this in the universities. So I had to go learn it myself. And as I said, I found all these teachers. And one of the other things I found out was that you have to know how your body works. And as a fighter, I began to compare that to being a fighter pilot and a Top Gun fighter pilot. And what fighter pilots know is that you have to know the manual of the airplane inside and out to be a successful pilot. Because if you don't know how that airplane works and something goes wrong, you can die. So, you know what, relationships are a little bit like that too. If you don't know how you work and you don't know how your partner works, your relationship could die. So I began, as I said, I began to study the mechanics of relationship, but I also wanted to study the physiology of relationships. And what I learned was that our hormone systems between men and women are completely different, and the brain systems are very different. So how men think is a lot different than how women think, and how men are driven by their testosterone is a lot different than how women are driven by their estrogen. So all these things go together to make up the package so that you know how you work and how your partner works, and that way you can be a team and work together. So knowing how you work, how your partner works is the key to having a great relationship. Then you have to know the technology of relationship, and how do you deal with conflict, and how do you deal with power struggle resolution. And how do you create more intimacy in your relationship? And all this thing takes a lot of study and time. It's not just out there, and it's not instinctive. You know, people meet, they fall in love, and they get married and think that that's all they need. Wrong. You need a lot more training, because I've been there. You need a lot of training on how the relationship works, and you have to create it anew every day. And then there's the sex thing. You know, everybody thinks that they know how to do sex, especially men. You just ask any man, and he'll tell you he's a pretty good lover. But if you ask their mate, the woman, only about 15% of the women agree with the men. So, guys, this is really important for you. You have to know how that woman's body functions sexually. And you have to know, more importantly, what it takes to get her head to the point where she's having really great sex. And I'll tell you, there's a big payoff in this if you can do it. Because when you get the woman to that state of ecstasy, you will get that energy and you will get that state of ecstasy. And it's really worthwhile. So we've developed a lot of practices and a lot of exercises to help people find their way. And you can find out about this at our website, topgunlove.com. That's all one word, topgunlove.com. And I hope you have wonderful, successful, fulfilling, happy relationships, just as I have. And in another video, I'll introduce you to my wife, and she can tell you all about how we work together. Thanks so much for watching, and good luck.